thank you for coming and welcome to my podcast. Eh, It took me a while to get hold of you both. You guys are very stubborn, but thank God,
Well noted.
thank God I was able to get you guys. So, I started this like a few weeks ago, and when I was going through the topic, I decided that you guys are going to come in this topic. So, but the topic of today is something that is very prevalent in our world, and it came as a question asking: Is loyalty in our time and age overrated? Oftentimes, we portray loyalty as something that happens between someone that is higher in power and then a subordinate, right? But amazingly, loyalty as something as a concept cuts across whether it's a boss and a subordinate, friendship level, parents and children, husband and wife. You know, loyalty is like a concept that cuts across every relationship, and I would like us to like talk about that. How loyalty, whether it's something that's overrated. But before we go into that, I would like you guys to briefly introduce yourselves. I mean, you don't have to say too much. Your name, what you do, where you stay is okay.
Okay, so my name is Lois. I'm a member of the bar,
Hey,
like my colleagues here that are with me. Um, on the side, I'm a creative director when I want to be, and I'm a mom and I live in Canada.
welcome, guys. Terry,
Yes, my name is Terry. I'm a legal practitioner in Nigeria. I'm a husband aspiring to be a father.
hey, God, I beg you, the only me remain. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to throw the question: Do you guys think that loyalty is overrated in our time and age? Probably you may need to actually start by telling us what you understand as loyalty in your own world, because maybe I may be wrong, but loyalty may be relative. I mean, I don't think it should be, but to some people, what you call loyalty may not be the same for someone else. So, but Lois, let's start with you. What do you think? Is it
Uh,
overrated? What is loyalty, or is it overrated in our time
uh,
and age?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's overrated because I know people now attach so much to the word loyalty. Everybody wants to go, oh, she wasn't loyal, he wasn't loyal. We use the word a lot, most of the time out of context. We don't
Hmm.
really understand what it means. I would say that being loyal is being faithful.
Okay.
It's being committed to something. So it's it's not exactly overrated. It's just that people have a different understanding of the word in our present time and age.
Right.
And there's so much expectation around the word loyalty. Everybody expects everybody defines loyalty as it relates to them or how they feel or how they want.
Right.
And that being said, people expect so much from other people when they talk about loyalty. So that's what I would say. I would say people expect loyalty based on what they desire.
Hmm.
Not they don't really understand what the word is as it is. They have an imagination, a desire, an expectation, and when they don't see that, they go, "Oh, sorry, you're not loyal to me. She's not loyal. He's not loyal." So it's beyond boss and employee relationship. It's beyond brother, sister, father. Loyalty is it's in your daily life. It's as a person, you could be loyal to something that's not even a person.
Yeah.
It's beyond human interaction. So yes, loyalty it's a wide scope. It's beyond what people classify it to be. So I don't really think it's something you can put in a box and like define that this is what it should be.
Terry, let's come to you. What do you think loyalty is to you, and do you think it's overrated?
Well, I just love what she just explained because she was just taking
Yes.
the words out of. I mean, loyalty is simply what it is. Being, if I should use the word, being loyal to someone, something, or most times yourself. You have to be loyal to
Yeah.
yourself first of all
Right.
before you can be loyal to others. If you're not faithful to yourself, then you can't give it. If you don't have loyalty in yourself, then you can't even give it out to others. So first of all, like they say, charity begins at home. So what you do with yourself, what you can give out. Even the Bible says, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So you must have it
Yes.
wholesome in you before you can even give it
Right.
out. Into our society where it's the question is loyalty overrated? Well, uh, given the way things are going in our society these days, a lot of things seem to be overrated. But there's several of us who love to remain with the way things were in the past, the old school type of
Mm,
way, or what we believe is tradition. We try to keep
mm,
up with traditions. We believe loyalty is how it was before, that's how it is now, and that's how it should be in the future. So social media is a wonderful place where there are lots of things. People come out to give different perspectives for various reasons. Some just to trend, some to catch clouds, some of them because that's what they think. But most times they are trying to twist what has been. And but I don't think loyalty is something that can be twisted that much. Like someone always says, no matter how much you try to twist the truth is what it is. It's still there staring at you. You might twist it, you might shake it, you might
yeah.
push it up and down, but the truth remains the truth, and the truth is staring back at you. And that's my view on it. So loyalty to me
Now,
is not over.
it's interesting. It's interesting what you've said, what you both have said already on this concept, and it makes me to also wonder because it seems to me that there is a constant battle between. Terry talked about loyalty is supposed to be what it was and it shouldn't change, right? But there is a constant battle between what we've known as true loyalty in the past and what it is today. And it makes me wonder, don't you think that Lois, you talked about the fact that people define loyalty based on how they feel. Doesn't that come from a place of being selfish? So, for instance, it's only when it's convenient for me that I think someone is loyal. So, if it's not convenient for me, the person is not loyal. What do you guys have to think about that?
Yes, I would say that. I would say it's selfish. Human nature, people tend to put themselves first. It's just a part of how human beings are wired. So, if you feel that someone should be there with you, let's use two people for example,
Yeah.
A and B, or
Hmm.
John and Jane.
Yeah.
And then John expects that because Jane is his friend or his girlfriend or his wife, and she's supposed to be, and maybe something is going on in his life or he's going through something,
Yeah.
he wants a friend who's loyal.
Hmm.
He wants her to always be there. He wants her to support him. He wants her to be there for him. He wants her to stick out her head for him at any point in time for everything, forgetting the fact that this is someone else. This person also has stuff going on in their lives. Also has, let's say she has family she's committed to, she has a job, she has
Hmm.
things she's doing on the side. She has a life. Let's use that word.
Yeah.
So then maybe she says, "Oh, sorry, I'm going to the gym, or I'm going to my volunteer class. I'm going to something." And
Yeah.
then he goes, "Why would you leave me? You're supposed to always be with me. That's what it means to be loyal to me." So I feel people try to use that word to, would I say, to guilt trip, or they blackmail other
Hmm.
people just to
Hmm.
get them to be there for them or to do stuff for them in a way that pleases them. Because the fact that she's going about her life has nothing to do with her being loyal or not loyal to you. But because you as a person, you have more expectation, or you want her to just, like, you just want, like a boss wants an employee to do everything for them.
Right.
I want you to put your job first, forgetting that you also have a family
Hmm.
and you owe them your 9 to 5, your 8 to 4, depending on whatever your clock is.
Yeah.
So sometimes they want you to put in extra and they feel, oh, that's when they see you're loyal to the company. They don't look at how much work you put in within the time which you're assigned to that job and how
Hmm.
well you do your job. For them, loyalty is when you work extra time or when you go above and beyond outside your time frame, because you're going above and beyond within your normal time frame, but
Yeah.
they're not seeing that. But the minute you maybe start leaving work, spend extra 2 hours at work, come in like an hour earlier, take on more job than you're actually supposed to do, or help them get stuff done that is not, that maybe you did it once or twice because they needed it, and then they expect that from you all the time, and when you don't keep up with that standard, you become a disloyal employee. So that's why I say people are selfish about it. People see it as what they expect from you and not really what it is. They refuse to see what you're doing that is good. They now want that extra that is beyond what you're actually supposed to do. And
Yeah.
for them, that's what they feel is loyalty.
Lois, you made a very fantastic point, right? Now, Terry, I'm curious. Shouldn't loyalty come from both ways? It seems as though now, if it's come from a selfish perspective, it means that one person would need someone else to go over and beyond. But don't you think it's something that's supposed to come both ways? So, if even if I'm the boss and I expect my employee to be loyal to me in terms of the job, right? What is my part to play? How do I balance it out? So what is my role that would also portray that I'm also loyal to my employee? Because do you think it's something that should balance out, or is something that should consistently create a dichotomy between the person receiving and the person giving?
Loyalty is something that needs to be very well balanced. And in balancing it in the workplace, you need wisdom, both the natural wisdom where every human being is expected to have, and what I would call corporate wisdom. So, in the sense that your boss expects you to be loyal to your duties, to fulfill your KPIs, to abide by your job descriptions, to do all you are assigned to do, and to do them not just to do them, but to do them on
Mm,
time and diligently well.
mm.
So, I believe once you can get all this done, that's a good form of loyalty. Your boss wouldn't expect you necessarily to make lunch for him or run petty errands for him to show you are loyal. But if you can get your work done while also balancing loyalty to yourself, in the sense that you plan yourself very well, wherein if you're an 8 to 4 or 9 to 5, you plan in the sense that you are able to come to work by the 8 or 9, and by the close of work, you've finished your targets for the day. And then you can now go home and be loyal to yourself and face your personal targets, probably your family, your children, or you have a side job, or having fun with friends, or just being alone. So once you can get that balance between your work and your personal life and loyalty to yourself, it shouldn't clash. So there wouldn't be much of a clash. That's my opinion about that.
Okay. The more you guys speak, the more my eyes are open to a lot of things and that I want to say. Because if you're saying that your boss doesn't expect you to run pet errands for him, okay, that's relative, really, because based off on location and the kind of company and office you work in, people have different things to say about it, right? Now, if I'm to say anything on this matter, I would say that I think there should be a distinction between what people think loyalty should be and what it is really. Now, I wouldn't want to say that if you are dedicated to your work, which you are being paid to do, that is loyalty. I feel that when someone expects you to do something extra, that is what can give them satisfaction of what loyalty is. Now, I mean, you're doing your job and that you're being paid for, right? You are loyal to your job because you're being paid for that thing. But when you go outside your comfort zone to do something extra, that is what usually attracts that sentiment of loyalty from one person to another. So that's my own perspective. That's how I look at it. But I mean, if you're saying that okay, you go to work, um, that things are your boss has told you to do something, and you are doing what you're supposed to do according to your job description, that is you being loyal to yourself first as an employee, your boss as the owner of the company, maybe, and then your job because you're being paid for. You're being paid for that job, but not because so loyalty to your boss on a personal level, not on maybe like not on a corporate level, for instance, may actually require you doing some things extra, maybe taking extra hours, maybe that you know yeah, so exactly, so that he would have that sense of sentiment that this is loyalty. So that's my perspective, anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you guys: have you ever had an experience when your boss probably has expected you to be like do something extra that is outside your work description?
I have a perfect example.
Definitely. All right, go
So,
ahead.
um, I used to work for a company, and I got a new boss at the time,
Mm,
and so I sort of changed roles
yeah.
at my work, and then my new role had a specific job description. But then I had a boss who always expected me to do part of his job and part of my previous job while still doing my present job.
Current
I don't
job,
know if that
yeah.
made sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
So
sense.
yes, you start the day, and then sometimes maybe I show up at 10 because it depends on. Sometimes I show up at 9. Sometimes you'll be like, could you come in at 8? I was supposed to come in probably at 9 or 10. And then I come in, like, can you come in at 8 and then do this for me? So I come in at 8 and then I have to do his job till like 11. And then I go back to doing my job till like 4. And then he goes, oh, somebody needs help, something, something, something. Can you do your previous job to cover for someone else? And then I go back to do my previous job for another 2 hours. Now, for him, that's me being loyal.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, personally, I don't see that as, because what is loyalty? I don't know how people, loyalty for me is faithfulness,
Yeah.
allegiance, dedication, being dedicated to something.
Mm-hmm.
So I can actually be dedicated to my actual job and ensure that, because thankfully at work we used to have like a task for the day. You have your task sheet for the day, so you have what you're supposed to accomplish every day. So I would say that loyalty is being able to accomplish that task to the best of my ability
Right.
as required by the company,
Mm.
and to do a perfect job. So that, and doing that every day religiously without any ill feeling or any sentiments or any issues,
Right.
for me, I would say that's me being loyal. I
Okay.
do that happily and excitedly and with my 100, give it 100% every day. But then when your boss expects you to do a little bit of this,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of that,
Mm-hmm.
it made me, I was doing more than I was supposed to do. I had more access than I should have
Right.
because I was doing more than was required of me, and more than was expected of me in my job.
Right.
But were you paid
And for
enough for that
him,
job?
he was always so excited, and because he felt I was loyal. But then my question is, you see other people who are giving their 100% every day to their basic job,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't see them as loyal because they are not doing extra for you.
Right.
Because there are people he would ask and they'll be like, sorry, I don't know how to do that. That's not part of my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that. Because sometimes, because at a point, there was a time, you work 5 days a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time we had an event and I worked 11 days straight, nonstop.
11 days.
And
That's
in the end,
huge.
I was disloyal to myself. Yes. I was disloyal to myself. No, it was 12 days. 12 days, yes.
Wow.
And then I was disloyal to myself, but I was loyal to the job. So you see, loyalty. And then my bosses were so happy because for them, I was giving my all. I was giving my best. And you know what's funny? When I look back and I realize, I'm like, I shouldn't have done that to myself because they took a break.
Yeah.
We were all supposed to work the entire time. I worked the entire weekend into the next weekend. Like I started working from Monday and I worked into the next week, Friday,
Mm.
non-stop.
Wow.
Wow.
So when I look back now, I realized that they took their days off. And the days that I was supposed to be off, I was doing part of the job I was doing was beyond what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And it hit me at the point because people who hadn't, or people, bosses, I would say, who didn't really talk to me or relate with me, acknowledged me at that time saying, we appreciate your dedication and your loyalty to this company.
Right.
And I'm like, so all the while I have been working 5 days a
Mm-hmm.
week, there was no dedication. There was no loyalty for you people. But the very time I stretched myself beyond the usual, the very time I did more than even you guys that actually own the company, then you recognize my loyalty. So it made me question, did they not? So it just shows you that most employers don't see their employees as being loyal. They don't appreciate the work, the day to day work that we put in every day in keeping their organization afloat.
Yeah.
Until you go out of your way, until you stretch yourself, until you do above and beyond, until you work more than you're supposed to, then they feel the need to recognize. That's why people are not happy at their jobs, I would
Mm.
say.
Mm.
Because I know people who honestly put in their best, but there's no recognition, there's no acknowledgement. Why? Because they have a family, they have a life, and they have to be loyal to those people. If you have a kid at home, you have to be loyal to leave work at 5 if that's when you close,
Exactly.
and go pick them up from school or go make dinner from them at home. So your loyalty is, it's, you can't give all your loyalty to your job and work till 6:30 and then you come back and your family is hungry, or your kid has homework left undone. You have other stuff you have to do. Or your personal life, what if you're someone who has a routine? You have to go to the gym at this point in time every day, you have to go to the spa, you have to do yoga, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. just I feel that loyalty is giving 100% to every area of your life the best way that you can, and not giving one part 120 and the other part 90,
Mm,
because then the part of 120 now feels, oh yes, this is you being loyal to me. No, that's you being loyal to them and being disloyal to yourself.
mm.
It's balance. Loyalty for me is balance. Be faithful to everything, give everything your best, but find the balance, because then people will take advantage of you. That's how it will go.
Absolutely. I agree with that point that you made, that in terms of being taken advantage of, yes, very, very true. People tend to take advantage of people when the chips are down, you know. And that's why I keep saying that it comes from a place of being selfish. So once they see that you're not doing something extra, it comes off as not being loyal. Terry, do you have any experience in your job about this concept, about this matter?
Yeah, it happens a lot in Nigeria. You know how bosses can be very authoritative over here. They give you something extra to do, and
Yeah,
most times,
that's why I
like
said
you
it's
said,
Oh,
relative. Yeah, exactly.
it's very.
and most times over here, the something extra they give you to do has nothing at all to do with what you were employed to work in that office. So probably they're giving you some of their personal businesses to help them do this, like
Preach.
we're all lawyers now. Yeah, and you see your boss gives you some legal documents or whatever to work on, and when you go through it, you see that it has nothing to do with this office. It's your personal stuff. You're being paid for it, but I'm doing it for you with my own extra time, and you're not going to pay me for it. And he expects you to get it done, and you'll be like, "When can I get it?" And you'll be like, "Okay, maybe in the next 4 hours." And you start working on that for him. And when you get it for him, thank you very much. So he now sees that as loyalty and he's grateful. But if you're like, if you start being the like, oh, sir, this is not my job, I can't do this, and they will tell you like, this guy is not respectful, oh, he's not ready to work, oh, he's not loyal, he doesn't want to put in. So, like you said, it's a selfish thing. It's more about what they receive, that's the bosses, and than what they give you. So their loyalty, your loyalty is about what you can give. Are you available when they need you? Maybe your boss is doing a birthday, probably you have to show up and be there. If you're not there, oh, this person is not really loyal to me. So you have to be there. Even if it's his wife's birthday,
Exactly.
something, you have to show face, send a text, just to show that, hey, I'm loyal to you. So that's how it works in Nigeria most times.
Sorry, let me just cut you. It's like when your boss, as you said, Dancha, when my boss back then would expect me to go to one particular joint and buy him his lunch. That's me being loyal. Or when he's running late for something and he says, can you pick up my dry cleaning and just drop it in the office before you go home?
Wow. Bosses can be funny.
So yes,
For
that's
each one,
that's
they have
being
You
different
see,
characteristics.
that's loyalty.
They are very
that's why I said that this loyalty thing, it depends on your location and the kind of people
No,
you
no,
work
the,
for,
the
right?
best part, coming to help my wife cook for my son's birthday party. That's loyalty.
Wow.
yes, yes, yes.
Ah,
It's
no.
a good loyalty. Maybe you go there a day before and you sleep over. You have them start working in the morning all through the day. I mean, that impression will be
You
there for the
sweep,
next
you
2 days.
wash the
That this person,
From
dishes,
early morning, yes.
yeah,
you serve food.
that's the best form of loyalty. And it's
Absolutely. I agree
yeah,
with you.
that's
Even if you are bad at your job, I tell you that will count for you.
and they will have it will give you a sentimental advantage when it comes to that because there are some things you are not supposed to get and out of this is my person, give it to him. So that's how it works.
I tell you the truth of the matter that some people that have enjoyed favor, right, on their job, sometimes when they make mistakes at their job, or maybe they're not even good at their job, but because of this part of them, right,
Yeah,
they tend to enjoy things that ordinarily, right. So I think it's also a big, yeah, it plays a big role. It has a huge influence on relationships.
yeah,
It's just that thing. It's a selfish thing. People just want to receive and all. But one thing I would like to know now, I understand that especially in Western world, when they apply for a job, they want to know the history of your past jobs. They want to know how long you have been in different jobs before you apply to them. They want to know the length of time you spent in each company or in each organization in the past before. Yeah. So, do you guys think that when you hop from one job to another, so you apply to this company after a month, after a few months, and they say that the pay is not good, or the environment is toxic to you, or you move out. You go to the next one, and then you see something you don't like, you hop out. You move to the next one. Now, there are people that actually hop from one job to another. I mean, if it's easy for you to get a job like that, keep moving and on. Do you think that if you are the one doing this, do you think you're loyal to your job, or really you're loyal to yourself?
Ah, I wouldn't say you're loyal to your job, but I wouldn't speak for the person and say you're loyal to yourself.
Okay.
Now there's people go through stuff. So there are people who honestly have a reason for doing 3 jobs in 1 year. Like honestly have a reason. And it
Yes.
has nothing to do with them running away for pay or for anything.
Yeah.
But then there are people who just can't deal with life. People have an expectation of what life should be. Like you said, the Western world.
Mm-hmm.
For someone who's not used to, who's not disciplined, or who's not used to this system.
Mm.
It's like how we were talking about back home, when you could get a job even if you're not qualified, or make mistakes and they overlook it
Mm.
just because your boss likes you, because you drive him around. If he's
Right.
traveling, you drive him to wherever he's going to. You show up in his house on Sunday evenings, ask him if he has personal stuff to take care of, and he likes you for that.
Mm.
So at the end of the day, he keep getting promotion. Let's say it's an actual big organization, you keep getting promotion, and then you get to a point where, when you move to a different world,
Yeah.
where that doesn't pay, where you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to go and drive your boss around, or cook for his wife, or clean his house, and then you come there and they expect you to actually do your job. But you've lived the last 5 years getting away with stuff.
Mm.
So some people are not ready for life. Some people don't like to be disciplined, don't like to put in the work.
Right.
You're supposed to work at 10 and then you show up at 11. And then you have trouble with that job, and then you say, oh, my boss is so annoying. My boss is always writing me up. He's writing you up because you're not doing your job, and then you get frustrated and you move somewhere else. You think it's better, and you move to the next place. You show up on time, but then you spend half the day on your phone,
Right.
or you avoid the major work. You just keep going around. I have people like that, colleagues like that. They just be busy doing absolutely nothing.
Mm.
They're just going around. They're on one task till the end of the day. They're just going around, going around, going around. So in that kind of situation, I think the people have a problem, because they're not even loyal to themselves.
Yeah.
That's why they can't stay big. And because they're not loyal to themselves, they can't be loyal to a job.
Right.
Because loyalty is dedication, allegiance, faithfulness, like being committed to something. You're not even committed to your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Those people you see, they don't even have a routine, they don't have a structure in their lives. That's why they have no structure. They can't cope in any structured system.
Yeah.
So in that case, these people, it's not about loyalty, it's about the self-discipline. They lack self-discipline. It has absolutely nothing to do with being loyal.
Dedication.
And that's why they keep having problems. You go to, because yes, dedication, because trust me, your job, you don't, everybody at work doesn't have to be your friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
work is not a social gathering. It's not. You come to an office, there are people from different walks of life, different religion, different backgrounds. You're not expected to throw a party, you're expected to get the job done. So if you can come to work and do your job well, trust me, a work environment will be conducive for you. It's different where there's an extreme case where you're probably being assaulted by a boss, or the environment is unnecessarily tough. That's why I say that people that have genuine reasons why they actually change jobs. It could be it was too far for them, or they moved accommodation, or they had to relocate. These are genuine reasons. But if it's because the job is stressful, if somebody tells you 3 jobs are stressful, then I begin to question that person, because people have been working there. How come this first company was stressful? The second one was toxic. The third one was toxic. There's a saying, I can't remember who said it. He was like, if everything around you seems toxic, you should check yourself. You might be the
The
toxic one.
problem. Yeah. Yeah.
So if every job around you feels difficult, you should check yourself. You might be the one with the problem. So that's not loyalty. I'd say that requires self-reflection and a little bit more self-discipline.
Fantastic. Art. Do you have anything to add, or?
Yeah, she spoke it very well. But then just to add it, for me, there should be some
Right.
sort of limit to how much jobs you can change, or maybe a balance. If it's a few jobs, you can try to
Mm-hmm.
inquire what happened. Because there are persons who come into a workplace and see some certain activities that are not desirable or do not align with their principles. And they are like, okay, I can't stay here and fight you, and I can't stay here and be doing something else. So for us to be good with each other, I'll just leave. So maybe they manage to stay for a month or two or three and they go. Some people live based on failed promises. Now, a company employs you and tells you after
Mm.
2 months, we're going to promote you to this, or we'll confirm you and pay you this and this and that. And you're going to be
Yeah,
employed
yeah,
as something. And when you come in, they tell you, oh, we didn't even have, okay, you're going to be as a lawyer. Oh, we don't even have a HR. Okay, can you do the HR and the lawyer job together? And you try to get that done. And after some months, okay, what about my promotion? Oh, we'll get it. And before you know, it's a long time and they've not gotten it. So you might be tempted like, oh, these guys are not meeting my expectations and they're not fulfilling the end of the promises they made.
yes,
Whereas I'm giving more than I should give them. So maybe I should change. But like she said, if you keep changing, and maybe let's say you've changed like six, seven jobs, so come on, we need to ask you, what happened? So when you keep saying there's problem here,
right.
Exactly.
if all of them have problems, maybe you are the problem.
Something else is the fact that some people actually stay in a job no matter how toxic it is, no matter how maybe it's not even toxic really. Sometimes loyalty can be portrayed either in the negative or positive aspects, right? Some people can decide to stay on a
Mhm.
job because of sentiments. So maybe the person that you are working for trained you in school, and then you are there, and then you got employed, and then you have this attachment, you have this loyalty, this undeniable, unreserved loyalty to remain in that company, even though you are tired, even though you are frustrated, even though you are worn out, even though that you are brain drained, even though you have seen opportunities where you need to grow, you want to move to the next level, but because of past favors, because of the so-called loyalty, you remain there. Now, tell me, how can people in who get traps in this kind of situations handle it?
Well, first of all, for me, the person, okay, this scenario you painted happens a lot in Nigeria for different reasons. Maybe because
Yes,
there's no other job elsewhere,
yes,
so you want to hold what you have and just manage it. So that's why you see where
yeah,
bosses abuse their employees, and the employees still stay because there's nothing outside.
Yes.
So most times they are still there. And then, like you also said, loyalty to the person the person you're working for, your boss, out of maybe the person trained you in school or has been such a wonderful person to you over the years, and you still keep staying there, even though this job cannot meet up with your expectations and your income. Well, and most times, some people are scared because if maybe I leave this man, they'll say, he wasn't grateful after all I did for him. I trained him in school, and up to this point, I look at him, he left me now. Maybe they expect you to be there for the rest of your life, but you have your own future, you have your own career. As he has his company
Mm.
that he has grown, you also have your pathway to success, which may not necessarily be with that company or with that person. Or maybe you're supposed to be there for a period of time, learn what you can learn, give what you can give, and then move on. So for me, if you're in that situation, you have to go back to your drawing board. Look at what are your goals? What are your desires? What's your line for success? Are you supposed to be here for how long? Or do you want to move on? Or is it time for you to move on? There are many people, like, let me give an example, Herbert Wigwe. This is someone who had risen to the point of general manager, if I believe, in a different bank or so. And at that position, you'll be like, he has reached the zenith of his career. But he left there to open a bank, and look at him now, known worldwide. So sometimes you have to look at your pathway to success. Is this where I want to be? Is this where I see myself, my future to be? So if it's not, then you can start planning your exit. You start your exit plan. Probably you tell your boss, some companies will require a month notice, some say 3 months notice. You give your boss notice. Maybe instead of 3 months, you give him 1 year notice that, hey, boss, within a year, I would love to start phasing myself out gradually. So let's get someone that can understudy me, I can
Yes.
teach everything so you don't have any vacuum if I leave. And if the boss is understanding, I believe it shouldn't be an issue.
Exactly.
That's so true. And I can relate to what you just said a lot, because I know that I've been in a particular job that it was such a wonderful experience for me. The boss, good man, treated me like more like a brother than an employee, right? And at the time, it took me a while to summon the courage to leave. I'm telling you, man, it took me a long time because each time I think about leaving, I remember like this is blackmail. I'm gonna be like, it took me a while, but you see, I don't know if it happens to everybody, but what happens to me is that whenever it comes to a point where I need to leave a place, something happens to me. Like I know down to my bone marrow that it is time for me to leave. And And when I leave, I know that I will see the reason. I will see that yes, this is actually the time for me to leave, right? So, but some people are just perpetually stuck. You know, they try to leave, is not working. In fact, I know someone right now, a friend of mine, who has been on a job for the longest time. In fact, that person um started with that company really, but the person is not able to leave now. Not really because there's no other option, but just because of that sentiment, that attachment, that loyalty. I know for a fact. And anytime I talk to that person, the person tells me, this is what I'm going through, this is what my issue is. I can't just up and leave. But it's different, and you can't really do much when somebody is. So because you're not the one in that situation, the person knows, and it's not going to be easy for you to say, oh, why not, it's time for you to move. Sometimes you talked about path to success. The path to success is knowing when to leave and moving ahead. And people have missed opportunities by not listening to that voice to say it's time to move. It's time to move. And sometimes you don't have lots of options. Sometimes your hands are tied. You come out. There's no job outside. But the moment you get up and leave, you see that something else will come out that will make you know that indeed it was time for me to leave. But when you stay there wishing and hoping that, oh, if I leave, what will happen? I don't want to get emotionally blackmailed and all that stuff. You're gonna miss opportunities. But I mean, this is what people deal with every day. This is what people deal with every day, especially in our country, right? And it's really crazy.
That's true. And I would add that is, like Terry said, go back to your drawing board.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, it's how badly do you want it? How badly do you want to move forward in life? How badly do you want to push further? How badly do you want to achieve something more? Because at the end of the day, you want to be loyal to a company or a person or a boss, but you also want to be loyal to yourself.
Yeah.
Mm.
You want to, and part of being loyal to yourself is seeing yourself become the person you want to be. Is seeing yourself achieve your dreams, achieve your goals. So tying yourself down is you devoting loyalty to someone or something and then ignoring your growth, your personal growth or your career growth.
Yeah.
Like you're disadvantaging yourself at the end of the day. I would suggest it's you can't talk anybody out of something, but I would suggest you go back to your drawing board. And it's funny because if you reason with these people, like Terry said, you could give a 1 year notice. You could say, I plan to do more. You could talk to your boss. That sentiment is there. He's like a friend to you, like a brother to you, like a father to you. He said, I want to do more with my life. And trust me, this is where you know if the person has that same amount of loyalty towards you. He said, I want to do more with my life. I want to do more with myself. I'm looking at this opportunity, or I'm looking at going to get my master's. I'm looking at traveling abroad. You sit down and talk with that person. And if the person is also loyal to you the same way you are to them, they would understand your need for growth. They will appreciate that. They will respect that. And they will even respect the fact that you came to them first. You didn't just drop a 3 months notice. You came to them first to talk about it. You came to seek the opinion. I mean, that's even building a greater level of trust and relationship that is
Mm-hmm.
beyond just the job. And any employer who is loyal to you would appreciate that. I remember one time when I had a boss when I was talking, but she was like, "Yes, I think you should go for it. I think you should do this." She was very excited for me, and she kept checking up on me, like, "Have you started? Have you done this? How is it going?" That's because anybody who is equally loyal to you, they know that every role can be filled. It's beyond that. So they just want you to respect them. They respect the fact that you came to them, you were open to them about it, you even asked their opinion, you talk to them about it, and then they're delighted that they're proud to see you pursue something for yourself. So yes,
You
I would
just
say
answered
go
that
back to your
question.
drawing board and be
Yeah.
open about it.
You just answered that question about balancing out loyalty in terms of relationship, right? Um, when you're loyal to your boss, how does your boss also show loyalty to you? By supporting you in your own dreams as well. And this is
Exactly.
exactly what you just said. So I would think that once the boss is able to support you, that means it's coming from a place of love, from a place of
It's both ways.
inclusivity. Yes, it's both ways. So
You
it's
want
a
the
two-way,
company
it's
to
a
be
two-way
good, to
traffic.
to keep
Right.
to keep going
Going.
forward, and they want you in your career to keep advancing. So the
Absolutely.
best they can do is
Absolutely.
to tell you, okay, we'll find someone to replace you, train them well, teach them everything you know. Just make sure that there's no gap when you leave. that's the if you ask me, that's the most that you owe them at that time, to make sure that you
That's
don't just walk out, get up and leave and like let them like I don't care anymore. No, that's when you're being disloyal. But when you make sure that there's a smooth transition, that's all
that
you
is
owe them,
true.
and then your growth. Because eventually they want you to be better. You're not going to remain there all your life. They were not
Yeah,
they moved up. That's why they became your employers.
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But just that people get blackmailed for trying to get a pass for themselves, and it's terrible. It's just
Yeah, no,
terrible.
that's
It's
when
really
it now goes
terrible.
bad. Like
This loyalty in the workplace is such a broad thing because people are going through a lot, and a lot is happening in workplaces in terms of particular in terms of this loyalty thing, and people are languishing. And I just really hope that people would at some point get the memo and understand that it's okay to say no to some things. It's okay to say I'm done. It's okay to say this is the right time to move on, right? I think it will help a lot of us, and that's why I also say it's really different depending on where you are and what you
yeah.
do. So I would like us to briefly talk about loyalty and friendship. This one is something that I'm sure that we've dealt with over and over again in our lives. Now we have friends that when our loyalty is being tested, when things happen and you expect someone to stand in for you, someone to support you, someone to be there for you, and the person doesn't show up, right? So how do you handle the test of loyalty? Have you had any experience in terms of a friend testing your loyalty or something like that that has like prompted you to actually say that someone is definitely not loyal to your friendship? Have you had that experience? Anyone?
Oh well, I think everybody, once you're an adult, you've had that experience. We've all had friends who have
Yes. Multiple times.
multiple times.
Yes.
We've all had friends who have been disloyal, friends who have stabbed you in the back, and Loisy can relate to some ladies who will tell you, "Hey, I don't have friends," and you ask them why, they say our friends will betray you. So many ladies are like a one-man show because they don't want to have friends who would go behind their back and do this, steal their man, backbite them, or tell lies. So it all happens, it comes. So most times, what you have to do, what you have to tell yourself is, uh, loyalty is something that you should give more than you're receiving. If you give more than you receive, you wouldn't necessarily be hurt most times. That's one. And secondly, you should give what you can let go of. So, for example, you
Mm.
see a lady who will come and tell you, "Oh, he's loyal to him. I gave him my body. I gave him this and all of that." Or the man who will tell you, "Oh, I trained her through school and all of that." For me, that shouldn't really necessarily define loyalty. You should give something that you can. If it's broken, it wouldn't break you.
Hmm.
So don't go give something that you place a lot of
Hmm.
value on when someone can break it.
I was
So,
struck.
like for me, for example, now some people can ask you for money, and you know this person might not give you back this money. So instead of you giving the person
Sorry, I
what the
have to
person
laugh.
asked for, give him what you can let go of. So, okay, I'm not going to give you this money, but I'm going to give you this amount, and it's a free will gift, and you remove your mind from it and you move on. Instead of giving something that the person will not pay back, and then you start getting bitter. I gave it, I helped you in your time of need. So to avoid those
Oh.
situations, you just have to use wisdom to manage yourself. So I think that's how it works most times.
Wow. You just made a point. You say people should give what they can let go. That's a very deep thing you just said there. So because to me, are you saying that so when you are having when you are in a relationship or friendship with someone that you love so much and and friendship and relationship requires commitment. It requires deep level of commitment. So at that point, nobody is expecting that they're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Nobody is expecting that they want to keep some things to themselves and not give their all. So it's very hard, really, for you to say,
Yes.
"Oh, you have to give what you can let go." People fall in love, people become friends, and they give all that they have, expecting that the other party will also give the same in return, which is actually the usual thing, the regular the normal human phenomenon,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You give expecting that you're going to receive. But these days, right, I don't think it's something that happens when um if you are saying that we should not give more, we should give the things that we can let go, it means that people are going to be careful on what they really give. So it means that the loyalty is not going to be 100%.
Let me explain.
People are not going to be supporting others 100%. Yeah, so it means that people are not going to be so careful as to what they really give. And then if you discover that people are are not true to themselves. Lois, let me hear you.
Okay. I was going to say the fact that you don't give 100% doesn't mean you're not true to the relationship or true to yourself. Because, like Terry says, when you're an adult, you would have a lot of experiences. Life will happen to you. So, the way I will give
Mm,
now is not the way I would give back in school. Like, I remember back in school days, I loaned somebody money one time because he was doing clearance and he got stuck and he was desperate about
yeah.
it. I loaned him that money.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I was going to give you back on Monday. I'm coming back on Monday to complete my car. I think he was in student affairs, going to security. I can't remember that process again. But he needed to get off one point and travel back home and come back the next week to continue. Came back the next,
Mm-hmm.
acted like I didn't loan him any money. And it's funny, we were just
Wow.
acquaintances. We were not friends per se. Told someone I loaned
Yeah.
him money. How did I find out? Someone else came to ask me for money. I gave the second person. And then it was when someone randomly came to me and told me that I hope I'm not offended. I'm like, what happened? He said he had people talking about me. Like, if you run into something, you could ask her for money and she will give you, and she will not even ask you back.
Central Bank.
So you see
Wow.
how that happened. So exactly, the person who was supposed to give me back, instead of even acknowledging or just pretending to just acknowledge that something happened or that I helped you, instead of that, you went to tell someone else that, oh, she helped me. I think she can help you too. And then it becomes a thing. So that's why, like Terry said, when you grow, life happens to you. For most of us who have traveled out, people feel that when you're abroad, maybe that money just as you go, it just falls down from somewhere. Me, I've been looking for that tree till now, where they pluck money from. I still have not found it. And when someone won't chat you up for 6 months. I'll be like, oh, I lost my great grand uncle's brother, sister's son. And then they're like, oh, someone will not be like, I want to open a business. I need someone actually told me he needed 1 million for his business. We're not
Oh,
friends.
mm,
I was upset that I refused to loan him that money because he feels I'm in the abroad. But
Yeah.
personally, I've had a lot of experiences with, especially with money, and even with friends, where you give friends money, they're not even appreciative of that. They just feel that I had a friend say, ah, besides, you have the money now. This was back in Nigeria. I'm looking about abroad. And you know that's even a sacrifice to give from what because I have other things to do with my money. I have other friends. I have siblings. I have a family. I have things I have to do with my money. So the fact that I'm even giving it to you every time you ask is because of my commitment to our friendship, because I feel like I should be there for you. I should help you when I can. And they don't realize sometimes it's not even very convenient for the person giving, even as a friend. You just do it because you feel I need to help my friend out. But people always take advantage of other people. My husband used to tell me something, everybody is not you. So
mm.
that's why when you grow, you learn that you do everybody will not I don't expect to receive as much as I give out. I learned that late. And when I learned it really helped me because I can't tell you the number of people I've had money interactions with or how I've supported people. Like someone needs something, someone says I'm not feeling well, you show up for them. What can I do? How can I help you? I need money, you give it to them. Someone says, oh, I need this, or I need to go somewhere. Like, don't worry, I'll come, I'll pick you up, I'll drive you, I'll take you. And then the one time you make a request from that person, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm busy, I have to go here. And when you listen to all their reasons, none of it makes sense. You just see that they're just
So
not interested in put like they don't care about you the way you care about them.
so at that point,
So I would say the key
how do
is
you reevaluate your own how do you reevaluate that friendship, or how do you reevaluate the friendship? I think I will ask that. Yeah.
for me, when I realize that my friends are not giving as much as I'm giving, the truth is I try to not stop being myself, but I just try to be a little bit cautious. I get to the point where
Okay.
I don't give too much. I don't give like Terry says what I can't let go of. So now if that my friend asked me for 100K, if I have only 150 in my account, there was a time in the friendship I would give that 100 because I would literally sacrifice myself. But this time around, I put myself first. Okay, if I can let go of 30 and not feel it, I say, okay, that's what I'll give you this time around. Still because I love you, but at the same time, because I'm also trying to protect myself and also take care of myself in the process. I don't want to because that's why people are frustrated in relationships because you feel you gave everything, not just like intimate relationships, just even friendships. You feel like
Yeah.
I gave everything to this friend and this person doesn't give me back. So I see this where wisdom and discernment comes in. You want to love everybody and be there for everybody, but at the same time, prioritize yourself. Find a balance. So find a
Yes,
balance.
finding the
Give
balance has
something
been
that
the
you know
problem.
that even if the person mistreats you or does anyhow tomorrow, you're like, well, I love them. They were my friend. I helped them when I could. It's fine. You don't feel like, that my friend, I emptied my account for that my friend. I did them, you
Mm-hmm.
keep, there's that so much. No, no, you find the point where if anything happened, because life is unpredictable. You won't be friends with everybody till you die or till the end of the
Right.
world.
Yeah. Right.
So you learn to realize that this friend might not be there in every phase of my life. This might just be a phase. This friend might not be there in 20 years. So can I look back at our relationship and be like, yeah, it's fine. I was happy with our friendship. I helped them when I could. I was there for them when I could. We had a great friendship. It's also being mature. You get to the point where you grow. You become wiser and you see the world for what it really is.
It's crazy, and I would think that it's easier. I mean, there are really good people, genuine people that do not
Yeah.
care about expecting anything in return for what they do. But when you
Yes.
have given so much, when you have poured out so much, even if you are not consciously expecting something from somebody, there is also a subconscious expectation, which when it doesn't come,
Yes.
it shatters everything that you've built in that relationship or friendship. And that's why I say that sometimes we are not in control of how we are able to pour into people because we love them genuinely. And you can't stop being who you are until you experience it. So it just always means that some people will always be in that circle of being heartbroken in terms of loyalty. When someone they expect to be
Yeah.
by them does not show up, people will always be in that circle of disappointments. It's going to always happen because sometimes the person you least expect, to be in that space will be the person that will be in that space, and you're going to be disappointed. So it's a dicey thing, really. It is. I've seen people
And
turn
then also,
from being so good to being good. Go ahead.
okay, then also you need to factor in those set of people who can classify as ingrates or people who would never appreciate anything you do or who would always feel like you're not doing enough. So now you
Mm-hmm.
might have a friend who you've come through for several times, and every time the person comes to ask for something, the
Mm-hmm.
person is asking with the mentality or the vibe that you've done nothing for me. And
Right.
anytime you say no to this person, the person is like, "Oh, you can't even help me." The person doesn't even remember that you've gone out of your way several times to be there for the person. I saw something that trended on Instagram or was it on Twitter last week.
Yeah.
It was
Mm-hmm.
one of this people screenshot, and the guy was posting how a lady he sent 1 million naira to, and she was like K, and he
T.
was like, "What's the K for?" She's like
Yeah.
J.
Or
So like,
T. T
okay,
for
as T.
thanks.
Was T.
Yeah.
She was like T for 10, and he was like after 1 million, and she said, "I asked T for was it 10 million or so, and you gave me 1 million," and she said, "LOL."
Oh my God.
You know, so
Oh
internet
my God.
was on fire. People were bashing left, right, center, and so there are people who are like that who would feel like this person didn't do enough for me. Whereas on the normal sense, with a common sense, you can say this guy has tried, even if we don't know how much he has or how much he sacrificed. But in the Nigerian context, that money is a huge money. It can change a lot of people's
Yes.
lives.
And
So
it's
you
not
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
money.
Definitely.
money, it's not your money. It's some people's yearly salary he just gave you. So no matter what it is, even if it is
Two
way
years.
below what
3 years. 5 years.
you so even if it is what you have the 10 million you wanted, but you no longer need 10 million now, you just need 9 million. So be grateful that you've made maybe a 10% step.
This is really crazy. So that's like entitlement mentality.
Yeah,
Not being
people are just
grateful. Not being
entitled.
grateful.
Yeah,
Not being grateful. That is a huge one.
it is.
How can you continue to relate with somebody who does not appreciate the things that you have done for them? I mean, no matter. So even if someone looks at you and sees that you are capable of doing beyond what you have done, do they know what you're going through? Do they know that you have other
Exactly.
needs?
Mm.
Do they know?
Exactly.
So
I
people
had
judge
someone
you.
who
Yeah, people judge you based on who they think you are, and not really what what you really are, and that's terrible. Yeah, go ahead.
and I would say these people are not close to you because most of the time these people are not even your friends or like really
Yeah,
close to you. Like when I say close, into like they could be relatives. Like you see family people do that sometimes. You have a cousin who feels that you are brother, they need what? They need 2 million naira. And they expect that you should be able to just produce it from somewhere.
immediately.
You send them 200K and they're like, "Ah, that one's only 200K." They don't understand that here you have so much to meet up with. You have bills to pay, you have things to get done. And every money you send back is a sacrifice. You took it out. You worked for that money and you took it out and you sent it to them. People are just like, he just gave me ordinary 200K. Ordinary, if you had ordinary 200K, you will not be asking me for ordinary 2 million. So that's what people don't realize. People just feel they feel entitled.
They
And
do.
for me, it's you get to the point where you get to sieve these people out. You just know who they are. And then you begin to sieve them out. And like Terry said, if you like asking for 1 million, if what I have is 10,000 that if I give you now, will not pay me, that's what I'll send you. That's it. Anyhow you
Oh,
want to feel about it is up to you. But then I'll give you that happily. And I know that whether you say thank you or T for thanks, I won't be moved. I know
right.
that it's money I could let go of and I willingly gave it to you without any expectations. I didn't expect anything from you in return. I didn't even expect a thank you.
That's terrible. People are really misbehaving. People are really, really misbehaving. Now, I want to ask a very important question. Maybe this will be our last. So,
Okay.
in all of this, is there any way we can distinguish between being loyal and being naive? So, what is the point? At what point can we draw a line to say that someone
Hmm.
is loyal and then, or is too loyal, or someone is no longer loyal but is naive? So you don't know that you are being taken advantage of. So, what is that thing that you would do that would trigger that thing to say this person is no longer loyal but is naive? Maybe he's just acting, he's naive.
Yeah, it can differ from person to person. For example, what might be my breaking point might not be your breaking point. That's one. But some people will tell you if you fool me once, that's on
Yes.
you. If you fool me twice, that's on me. So when like Loisy explained how someone asked her for some money and went around to announce her as the central bank of free will donations. Now, if that person did that, that's one. That's fine. He has broken the trust and the relationship they have if they ever have one. But like she said, it was just an acquaintance. So now, if he comes again after 3 months and like, Loisy, can I get another money from you again? And she gives again, that's now going beyond loyalty. That's being like, come on, are you naive? Are you not? Are your senses not with you?
True.
And probably he doesn't pay back the second one, and he comes back again for the third time. So he will now see that he has opened, like we say, he has opened a market on your head. So you're a market point for him to read from.
Exactly.
So that's where you have to now balance it. As much as you're being loyal, you have to be wise. Even the Bible tells you, as much as lies in you, live peaceably with all men. So the Bible gives a caveat, as much as lies. So if it doesn't lie in you, my dear, don't live in peace with everybody. But you mustn't live violently with them. You can just part ways. Not everybody can be your friend.
Exactly.
If your right hand will lead you to hell, cut it off. And it mustn't be your physical hand. It can be a close friend. So if this person is trying to take advantage of this friendship and trying to make it look like, this guy in the US is so he doesn't really have the kind of sense I have, so I can trick him. Let me tell him my mother is sick and all of that. Once you notice all of that, you
Yes.
have to draw a line. Either a line on giving or a line on the friendship, whatever one you have to do, but you have to draw it.
Thank you for that. Lois?
Yes, like you said, people keep getting their hearts broken all the time. There are
Mm-hmm.
people who honestly take more time, like Terry said, to see it. Their breaking point is different. For somebody, you could just explain to them 1 plus 1 is 2, and then they get it. It's like even in life, even in school, they could just teach something and someone grasp it immediately. For
Yeah.
someone else, they need to go over it a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And
Mm.
as sad as that is, some people, it's always best when you get to that point by yourself. Sometimes you call them being naive, while sometimes some people just process things, or some people just want to always see good in people.
Mm.
You ask someone, for, it's like if you have a sibling who, because you're abroad, decides on his own to take advantage of you. And every time comes up with story, someone in the village, mama is sick, papa is sick, this uncle, this is that, and keeps taking from you. And they realize, oh, this my brother is always sending me. And they keep taking advantage of you. A part of you, out of love or out of friendship or out of family, wants to always keep helping that person because you're in a position that can. For some people, they might be wise enough or they might have more experience in this area to know that this is unusual. This person is taking advantage of me. For some others, they will keep giving and giving. Like it really has to be black and white. They really have to get to the point where maybe someone now calls them and says, you know that this person is not sick, or you know that this didn't happen. This person is just asking you for money and is spending it. Or someone says, I'm giving money to be going to school. And you said, this person, do you know this person is actually not in school? Some people need that extra. They really have to see it. And it's sad, but that's how it is in life for some people. But this is where it's like Terry said, wisdom and profitable direct. This is where you pray for discernment. Because sometimes some of these things you don't see them, especially when it's coming from someone very close to you. From a
Yes.
distant friend or from an acquaintance, like he said, if that kind of if he came back to ask for money a second time, I already know to say no. Because he was just an acquaintance. I met him through one fellowship gathering. Like it's not like it's someone I knew closely. So I didn't owe him per se anything. So, but if it's family, the temptation to give again is there. The temptation to continue to try is there. Or if it's a close friend, you want to really believe good in that person. It would take more than just repeated requests. Or I don't know how to put it. Take more than just asking over and over again for me to realize that I'm being taken advantage of, because a part of me wants to see good in that person. And
Mm,
to be honest, if we get to the point where we have to be very skeptical about everybody, and life will be very difficult. You will not be able to be
exactly.
relaxed. You will not be able to just
Exactly.
live life. There will be no more
Yes.
trust. It's really hard. But this is where you pray for discernment and you pray for wisdom to have the right people around your corner. If I can't see it, let me have a friend that sees it. Well, this way you have good friends. You pray for good friends. Somebody else who could see it and talk to you about it. Let my sister see it and tell me about it. Let my mom see it and tell me about it. Let my husband see it and tell me about it. This is where, like, someone asked him money several times. I talk to my husband and be like, I don't know, this person has always been asking for money. And he goes, so why is the person asking you? Did you confirm what happened? Then you begin to see little by little, you're like, that's true. I don't even know. I didn't see. Nobody else told me that thing. And you begin to add one and two together and it begins to make sense that probably this person is taking advantage of you. And at that point, I would say, don't be upset. Just be wise, because you can't keep living life upset over everything. If you find out somebody was playing you, as painful as that is, just don't be upset about it. Just learn from it and move on, because you don't want to be looking at everybody with binoculars. You don't want to be living life always being critical and always trying to look for ulterior motive even in the simplest thing. So it's hard, but you find the balance by you learn. Life teaches you. And the best thing you can do is to pray that you have the right people around you, and you have people you can always share things with, people who can talk to you and guide you and help you see the things that you can't see, because to be honest, you can't see it all.
Absolutely.
There's always someone around you that will see something differently. And that's why it's good to have good people in your corner, be it friends, siblings, or family. You always need to have good people in your corner.
Wow. You guys,
Yeah.
I'm going to bring you guys back. There's no way this is all. You people are so insightful. How did I not think that
Not
this
so
is going to go
insightful.
so deep? Like, I have a lot of questions I want to ask, but I can't right now because of time. But no problem. I'm sure I will done justice to this topic. And I'm going to bring you guys back in a different topic in the near future, because definitely you guys are full of Rema insights. Thank you so much for making our time to be here. Thank you for your insights. Lois, I appreciate you. Thank you, guys.